If you're looking for the cheapest and most reliable Madden 22 coins on the market, check out my sponsor, MMOEXPR.com. Links are in the description, and use code JEDI at checkout for 5% off. Alrighty, hey there guys, Adrian Costa here, aka JediBro95, coming at you guys with another video. So, continuing on with my end-of-year wrap-up series, guys, we're going to be talking about the top theme teams in Madden 22. I apologize for the sneeze there. Now, I'm going to be ranking each theme team in specific tiers. Obviously, now with the teams being a lot more even, a lot more, a lot more better, I should say. I need to be a little bit more nitpicky, but I do like the way how they did balance off these teams a little bit. Plus, also, they do have a 99 overall kicker and 99 overall punter coming tomorrow in the game, which I'm not taking part in because my team is basically all sold off. So we're going to start off, we're going to go in alphabetical order. We're going to start off with the Arizona Cardinals theme team. Now, the Cardinals, they have, Kyler Murray, solid quarterback. Chris Johnson, honestly, one of the better running backs. I think a lot of people just forgot how good this Chris Johnson is. Marquise Brown they got for when he was traded to the when he was eventually traded over to the Cardinals from the Ravens. You got D-Hop and Larry Fitz, not the greatest of wide receivers 2 and 3. Larry Fitz is still pretty slow. I would probably run. Actually, yeah, no, I would just still use Larry Fitz. Terry McBride for the rookie premiere. Offensive line, got some good offensive line pieces. Rodney Hudson, not the best. But you can just use the Dwight Freeney's center card, I think. Or no, he's a right guard. There we go. Okay. So he's a right guard. Never mind. Dan Dierdorf, probably still the best tackle in the entire game. He does get secure protector from 1 AP, which I do love. Defensively, though, the Cardinals, J.J. Watt is not bad. Defensive tackle-wise, not the greatest. Dominican Sue and Dwight Freeney are okay. You also get Calais Campbell, so they're pretty deep in the right end spot. Pardon me. In terms of linebackers, don't really have the greatest linebackers. They have a couple of good solid pass rushers. Patrick Peterson, still somebody you have to use the 2 DB strat items for in order to get him up there. And then you got your Larry Wilson, you got your Isaiah Simmons. So, but the Cardinals, I'm gonna put in the B tier. They definitely did need a a cornerback upgrade. I do suspect they might get one more UL corner, probably. Also, they do need a linebacker. Maybe they might get somebody like, I don't even know. But next, we'll move on to the Atlanta Falcons now. Where are the Falcons? Right here. They're actually organized by, this is organized by logo name, and then this is organized by, city name, so... So for the Falcons, Matt Ryan, not a bad quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, although if you really want to use Desmond Ridder, I would not say that's a bad idea. Cordero Patterson, probably the best back in the entire game overall. I do like this Cordero. Wide receivers, Andre Rison, Deion Sanders, and Billy Johnson are 3 great wide receivers. You could also use Julio Jones or Drake London. But you would need to be using the 2 wide receiver strat items. Tony Gonzalez, as I talked about when the draft promo came out, was a bit of a meh. I would honestly be starting Kyle Pitts over Tony Gonzalez. Offensive line, though, definitely did leave a little bit to be desired. Jalen Mayfield did not receive a card basically the entire year. Jake Matthews, another player that needed an upgrade. So there is that for the Falcons offense. Their defense is a little bit better, though, I will say. Patrick Kearney, Tony Cialis, Corey Peters, and Dwight Freeney make for a fantastic front four, even using Billy Johnson, who gets 99 speed on a Falcons theme team for a D-tackle. That's incredibly good value. Andre Rison is a 98 speed pass coverage linebacker. I believe he's 6 foot tall flat, so yeah, he is. Just off to the side here, as you can see right there, 6 foot flat. My apologies on that. So, yeah, I mean, he's a solid one for that. Deion Jones, I actually do think is a very good linebacker. 99 speed, again, on a Falcons team. Falcons have some good players for the linebackers, pass rushers. You know, you got even guys like Dante Fowler, Charles Harris. Cornerback, though, this is where their team definitely does not stand, does really falter. Cordero Patterson and Deion Sanders, corners are really good. Casey Hayward is meh, to be completely honest. Desmond Trufant, the stats do not tell the whole story on this Desmond Trufant, because with his combine promo, he actually does get a +2. So you could actually have a 98 speed Desmond Trufant before strat items. I believe that's how it works. Let me check his. Yeah, so yeah, you can get times. Yeah, so yeah, you can get a 98 speed on Desmond Trufant before you even get into theme team chem. So you could start Desmond Trufant if you want, but at that point you may as well just start Casey Hayward or Michael Vick. Julio Jones is incredibly good though. I like this Julio Jones. And then there's strong safety. You have to use Cam Chancellor. Morton Anderson's one of the better kickers in the game and whatnot, but the Falcons definitely are a C-tier theme team. They did not get the defensive pieces they needed to be competitive, especially in the secondary with the third cornerback and a strong safety. And then in terms of their offensive line, they definitely didn't get anything for them. Baltimore, let's look at the Ravens right now. They are right here. So for the Ravens, they have some solid players. Randall Cunningham, Steve McNair, Lamar Jackson, 3 top-tier quarterbacks. I would actually be completely inclined to use Lamar Jackson's GT. What are his ability buckets on this card? I do not know what this Lamar's ability buckets are. So, looks like Scrambler. Is it Scrambler? Improviser. Scrambler, Improviser, Field General. Strong Arm, and Scrambler. So he has 2 Scramblers and then 1 of every other ability bucket. You also got Ricky Williams and Mark Ingram. Priest Holmes is still a solid option, but I would use the Ricky Williams because he's a bit faster. Kyle Juszczyk and Bernard Pollard, solid, good fullbacks. Wide receivers, though, Marquise Brown, Deion Sanders, and Ricky Williams all can be 99 speed on the team. You could also use somebody like Rashad Bateman. Also use maybe Emmanuel Sanders if you really want to. Tight end, they got 2 great tight ends in Darren Waller and Mark Andrews. Offensive line, they did not get left guard. But otherwise, their guard position in general is just bad. They got Kevin Zeitler, who never received an upgrade, and then Roger Saffold. But overall, I do think the Ravens' offensive line is okay. Could be a bit better. But for the defense, this is where the defensive line is where the Ravens did not really get a whole lot. Derek Wolfe is okay. Travis Jones and Brandon Williams are mid. Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue are okay. You also got Matthew Judon, who's pretty outdated at this point. CJ Mosley is awful. Ray Lewis is not that good. Odafe Oweh, I've heard some good things about. The secondary, though, for the Ravens, Dion, Chris Westry, and Pierre Desir, who never got Seahawks chem. I'm still pissed about that. I'm still very, very salty that Pierre Desir never got Seahawks chem, even though his gold card does, which doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I will never understand it. Here it is, right here. Just once again, just throwing that out there. He has Seahawks chem on his gold card. And I'm pretty sure they also gave him... Yep, nope, they didn't. Okay, so yeah. But they have Seattle Seahawks as the team. If you look on the side here, Seattle Seahawks for team. So, yeah, I don't understand. Anyhow, moving on about that rant one more time. Eric Weddle's, yeah, he's whatever. Bryant McKinney is not that great. But Bernard Pollard and Ed Reed, you could easily be playing at free and strong safety, respectively. And then they got, the best kicker of all time and Randall Cunningham for their punter. So for the Ravens, I'm going to put them in the B tier as well. Definitely did need a guard upgrade. Definitely did need a bit more of a bit more pass rushing, in my opinion. Calais Campbell is a great interior presence, but and so same with Travis Jones. But pass rushing wise, maybe outside of we got Matthew Judon and Odafe Oweh. I don't know how I feel about that, but, it is what it is with that. Next, we move on to the Bills. The Bills are probably the most neglected theme team throughout the entire year. Josh Allen's draft card is really good. Reggie Bush is a great back, and then Bruce Smith. Then receivers, Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, and Percy Harvin, not terrible wide receiver options. You could also go with Robert Woods if you really want to, if you're getting rid of the strat items and just bench Stephon Diggs. In terms of the tight end position, though, this is where the tight end not very good. Dawson Knox is okay. Robert Woods out of position tight end is okay if you want some extra speed. Offensive line, though, yeah, not the greatest. I mean, they are okay. Roger Saffold and Mitch Morse are some good offensive linemen. I mean, you could definitely put Quentin Spain at left guard and start Joe Dell. I'm not gonna fucking try it. No, thank you. So yeah, you could start them. And then for the defensive side, Bruce Smith, not bad. 98 speed on the Bills team with 99 power and 98 finesse. Vernon Butler. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing my chair creaking and whatnot in the background. I am just a bit fidgety right now for some reason. But Vernon Butler Jr. And Ed Oliver, not bad DTs. Well, I mean, actually, they're not. They're pretty bad, actually. Let me change that again. Mario Williams, not good. Von Miller, their new acquisition, still is actually a solid pass rusher. Don't let that speed fool you. He actually is a very good player on the edge. I actually have used him. He's pretty solid. Linebackers, again, overall not that great. Cornerbacks, they don't have the greatest of corners. Their new cornerback, Khair Elam, is okay. Well, I mean, actually, he's really good. But Josh Norman's okay. Stephon Diggs is okay. Cameron Thomas is okay. Tre'Davious White is okay. And Stephon Gilmore is just straight up not that good. Micah Hyde is not very good. You have to have this team speed and whatnot in order to play him. And same with the Jordan Poyer. So the Bills are going to go in the C tier. They are very close to being a D tier team. But the only reason they're not is because their offense is actually pretty good is actually pretty solid, especially with their running backs and their receivers. Moving on to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers team, I mean, they're all right. Cam Newton is okay. Christian McCaffrey is, not the best running back in the world anymore. But he does get backfield master for 1 AP, so that does have some validity to it. Receivers, on the other hand, oh man, this is where the Panthers really desperately need some upgrades. They need like Keyshawn Johnson or a Robbie Anderson or fucking some other receiver, because yeah, the receiver's not great. Tommy Tremble is an okay tight end at best. Offensive line, they got a good offensive line. Not a bad offensive line whatsoever. Darrell Williams, Austin Corbett, Matt Paradis, Andrew Norwell, and Ikeem not gonna try it. Not bad offensive line, but the receiver's not the greatest. Reggie White for their left end. They also got Brian Burns. DT's not that good, so we'll move on. Hassan Reddick and Ndamukong Suh for their right end. Kevin Green, not very good. Luke Kuechly. Now, I've used this Luke Kuechly because he does get all 32 team cams. Let me tell you this right now. This Luke Kuechly is incredibly good, especially for his size. Shaq Thompson, on the other hand, I cannot say. For corners, though, the Panthers cornerbacks are pretty solid. Rasul Douglas, Chris Westry, and J.C. Horn are all really, really good corners. And defensively, for the continuing on with their secondary, Jeremy Chin is one of the better free safeties in the game. But obviously, their strong safety, they would have to use the Cam Chancellor. Strong safety, they would have to use the Master Cam Chancellor. But I'm also going to put the Panthers in the C tier. Actually, I'm throwing them in the D tier. Their secondary is, it's okay, and their offensive line is great, but not a good receiving core, not a good pass rush, not good pass rushers. Hassan Reddick is good, but he's not fantastic. In terms of like their left end, Reggie White is actually really, really good. He does get double or nothing for 1 AP on his Sugar Rush card, but I'm not really a fan of the Panthers team. Moving on to the Chicago Bears. Now, this is another team that I don't necessarily know how good they are, but Justin Fields, he got a draft card, right? I think that was his last card. Yes, it was a draft card. Justin Fields is a solid quarterback option, or if you really want to use Mitchell Trubisky, you could definitely do that. Cordero and Darian Evans, not a bad running back duo, if I do say so myself. Not a bad running back duo. Fullback William Perry, which is incredibly funny. Then receiver core, the receivers for the Bears aren't that bad. Brandon Marshall and Nick Foles are actually pretty solid. Devin Hester is still somewhat good if you have the speed strat items. Same with Allen Robinson to an extent, but I would just rather not have them. Mike Ditka is not that great. Neither is Cole Kmet. Offensive line, though, yeah, this is where the Bears do not have. They got 95 overall Larry Broom. They got the worst offensive lineman in NFL history in Jermaine Ifedi. That alone just makes them terrible. Olin Kruetz is also pretty not that good. And then they got James Daniels. But the Bears team, the defense is where it's at for them. Akeem Hicks is a pretty good, solid run-stopping end. The same with William Perry. So you can have them on your D-line. And then you can have, or maybe even Dominican Sue. And then you can have guys like Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn on the edge. Linebackers, Michael Singletary and Roquan Smith, not the worst linebackers in the game. Not that bad. I do think that Mike Singletary does get held back a little bit, though, because he is 5'11". But Mike Singletary can be solid. But Kevin Pierre-Louis, let me tell you about this Kevin Pierre-Louis, guys. If you have not used this Kevin Pierre-Louis on your team, go give him a look. Go give him a look. He is very, very good. I love this Kevin Pierre-Louis. For some reason, he just plays a hell of a lot better than what his stats advertise. Secondary, though. The secondary for the Bears team, Cordero Patterson, Kyler Gordon, not bad corners. Antrell Roll, you need the speed strat items to make him good. You could just use Desmond Trufant. Free safety, though, I actually would put Antrell Roll here at free safety and then start Desmond Trufant. And then the safeties, though, or you could have a strong safety, Jimmy Graham, or you can move this guy here to Sean Gibson and put strong safety, Jimmy Graham, or start Adrian Amos. So, the Bears' defense is pretty solid, but their offense does leave a lot to be desired. So I'm putting the Bears in the C tier. Their offense does leave a lot to be desired, especially their offensive line. They do not have a lot of good things going for them for the offensive line. Cincinnati Bengals, the Super Bowl runner-up. What's crazy for me is I've noticed that after the Super Bowl promo, the Bengals really did not get a whole lot of cards. They got Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow, who are two great quarterbacks. I would probably start with the Joe Mixon just because, whatever. But honestly, if you want to use the Joe Mixon running back, then you would have to use the Joe Burrow. Wide receivers, Chad Johnson, pretty solid with the team. Jamar Chase, really good. Emmanuel Sanders is all right. Charlie Joyner is an underrated card. I think he could actually start over the Emmanuel Sanders. CJ Uzoma, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Uzoma, whatever the fuck. Offensive line, Andrew Whitworth, Roger Stafford, Billy Price, not that great. Quentin Spain is okay. And then Lionel Collins, the new acquisition they just got in free agency. Moving on to the defensive side, Sam Hubbard and DJ Reader, Jordan Willis, and Trey Hendrickson. Solid pass rushing group. They could be a bit better. I would actually think that they should be a bit better. Linebackers, though, not the greatest. Corners, though, after the Chidobe, it's like Mike Hilton and Trey Waynes. You could actually start over the Mike Hilton, actually, because Trey Waynes is 99 speed on the Bengals team. Jesse Bates is still pretty solid, and then you got Daxton Hill. So the secondary is a little bit better. You got you got a top 2 kicker in the game in till tomorrow, in Evan McPherson, and then Kevin Huber. So the Bengals are going to be it's tough because I want to put them in B. Because their defense is a little bit better than I anticipated, but I want to put them in C because, quite honestly, they don't have that many good offensive pieces, and that's what actually I'm gonna do is put them in the C tier. Their offensive line did not, especially at the center position, not the best. You definitely could. You know what? I'm actually gonna put them in B. I'm gonna put them in the B tier. I think they're pretty good for the most part. Cleveland Browns. Let's look at the Cleveland Browns here real quick. So Baker Mayfield is their starting quarterback for the Browns team. Future Seahawk? Maybe. I'm just gonna say that he could be a future Seahawk. We'll wait and see about that. Anyhow, Nick Chubb for running back and Willis McGahee. The running backs are not the greatest. Everson Walls being a blocking fullback for the Browns is funny to me. Receivers, though, they got some electrifyingly good receivers. Andre Rison, Josh Gordon, and Amari Cooper, with Odell Beckham Jr. as the 4th receiver. Ozzie Newsome, gold 99 tight end with 97 speed. Browns offensive line though, really, really good. Like Jack Conklin is the weakest position they have, but you could easily probably put that with like say someone else. I guess I don't know, but yeah, Joe Thomas, Joe Patonio, Khalil Mack, Austin Corbett, and Jack Conklin, really good offensive line pieces. For the defense, Emmanuel Ogbah, not the greatest. Jadeveon Clowney still plays really well. Well, when I had him. Pernian Winfrey and Sheldon Richardson, solid DTs. Myles Garrett definitely did not get the love he deserved. He got a Team of the Year card, right? Yes, he did. Moving on, linebackers, you got Carl Banks and Andre Rison, Anthony Walker Jr., Christian Kirksey. I definitely would play these two. Joe Thomas, I think, is really, really solid. For corners, though, Denzel Ward, not bad. Pierre Desir, not bad. Everson Walls is okay. Grant Delpit is actually a solid card. And then, obviously, Tayshaun Gibson Sr. or Jordan Poyer. This Carl Banks is not very good. And then, special teams, not the greatest. But I'm going to put the Browns in the B tier as well. Obviously, they did need another. I feel like they needed one more pass rusher in order for me to put them in the A tier because they check off all the boxes. But again, I am being nitpicky because it is the end of the year. You know what? I actually am gonna move the Browns up to an A tier. I think the Browns actually have one of the more underrated theme teams in the game. They have some good pass rushers. They have some good linebackers. They got a great offensive line, great receiving core. I do think that the Browns are a great theme team that nobody talks about. Speaking of the teams that gets talked about, Dallas Cowboys. So Dallas, they got the new Dan Fouts for the season 4, but you could easily put in Johnny U if you. That's Chargers, dummy. Cowboys. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, brain fart. My apologies. Moving on. So for the Cowboys, 3 great quarterback options: Randall, Ben, and Romo. I actually do not know what this Romo's ability buckets are. I've heard some people talk about him, so that he's got a strong arm, 2 strong arms. Pardon me. He's got 2 strong arms. I believe this is an improviser. Yes, it is. A scrambler and a field general. So he's got 2 strong arms, a field general, scrambler, and an improviser. I would probably start the Ben DiNucci over him. I've heard a lot of great things about this Ben DiNucci card, so I would actually use him. Running backs, great 1-2 punch with Ezekiel Elliott and the Micah Parsons out of position running back. Fullback Everson Walls, again, just really funny. Lance Allworth being their best receiver, I'm not the biggest fan of, but they have some other great ones. Jimmy Smith, Deion Sanders, and Amari Cooper. You could easily also throw in their new wide receiver, Jalen Tolbert, or even Ed Tutal. So you got about good 5-6 receivers to choose from. Blake Jarwin and Mike Ditka are some solid tight ends. Offensive line, though, the Cowboys have one of the best offensive lines in the game, and that remains true. Their offensive line is incredibly great with the new Larry Allen being the right guard, but you could easily put in Leonard Davis here. Just throw in Leonard Davis to start. Now, Cowboys have a great offense. What about their defense? Well, Demarcus Lawrence is pretty great. Ed Tutal's pass rushing card is sweet. Tony Cialis is also really good. Everson Griffin and Randy Gregory, some solid options, but I would rather just probably use the Charles Haley or the Micah Parsons. Linebackers, like middle linebackers, not good, but not great either. They're not bad either. They definitely could be a little bit better. Dante Fowler and DeMarcus Ware, some solid backup pass rushers. And then for the cornerbacks, Ed Tutal, Deion Sanders, Chris Westry, and Everson Walls. Some great cornerbacks to choose from. Now, their safeties do not have a lot going for them, as they do not have a good strong safety or free safety. Now, I do think Roy Williams is going to be coming out soon. So, but right now, like the defense is a little bit lackluster, but I still think the Cowboys are an A tier theme team. They can definitely move up to the S tier theme team once they get a free safety upgrade for themselves, and then once that happens, then they're good. Denver Broncos. Let's look at the Denver Broncos, aka my Super Bowl pick. I'm putting that down right now, and I'm saying it on video. I believe the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl. But anyways, that is beside the point. The point is, let's look at their theme team. So, for my opinion, Russell Wilson, this was such a disappointment of a golden ticket. I cannot stress how disappointed I was in this GT. But running back wise, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, not bad. 95 speed each, so they'll be 97 on the theme team. Now, for the wide receivers, Brandon Marshall, Tim Patrick, and Wes Welker are really, really good. But you could easily also throw in Emmanuel Sanders in there because he actually did play for the Broncos, by the way, so you're not just choosing him for the Chems. Yeah, you could also throw these guys in, not bad. Vernon Davis is the best tight end in the game still. I don't think that the new Charlie Young is any better. You also have Noah Fant, who's a solid underrated who's a solid speedster tight end. Now, offensive line, the Broncos do not have a good one. They actually have one of the worst I've seen today. Gary Zimmerman, Roger Saffold, their best left guard isn't even a player for their team. That's how bad their offensive line is this year. But make no mistake, the no-fly zone secondary for the Broncos is where this team does make its mark. And that is very true when you start with some of their players. Like looking at their front four, not the best. DJ Jones is pretty mid. Randy Gregory is okay. Malik Jackson is ass. Von Miller and Shaq Barrett are pretty okay. Baron Browning and Brandon Marshall linebacker guards. DeMarcus Ware, not bad. Bradley Chubb could be a little bit better. Secondary for the no-fly zone, like I said, they're incredibly good with Ty Law, Deltha O'Neal, Damari Mathis, and even Pat Surtain if you really want to. And they can even go down to guys like Aqib Talib and Chris Harris Jr. Brian Dawkins and Justin Simmons are incredibly good safeties, especially for their size and speed. And then John Lynch is still a solid option for the other safety position. But you could easily throw in Dawkins or Simmons there. And then their special teams are not that great. But the Broncos are definitely going to be a B-tier theme team. Their secondary is great, but poor offensive line play, poor offensive line players, and lack of good pass rushers, especially in the middle of the defensive line, definitely does hold them back, in my opinion. So I would definitely put the Broncos in that spot. So for the Lions, where is the Detroit Lions? Let's look at the Detroit Lions. So Stafford, Bush, and Sanders, great backfield for them. They also got Michael Burton as a fullback. Wide receivers, though, yeah, not the best. After Calvin Johnson, it is a bit of a drop-off with Jamison Williams and Golden Tate as their top three after that. You could run Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I could actually understand that because he is a bit faster than Golden Tate. Tight ends, TJ Hawkinson does not really do very well because he is only 94 speed on the Lions team. Then you also have for offensive line, Lomas Brown, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Dwight Freeney, and this guy. And then Penei Sewell. So you could probably move some pieces around and get some good offensive line play, some better offensive line play. I would actually recommend putting O'Day to left guard if that's what you're looking for. But overall, the Lions' offense is pretty mid. Defensively, though, this is where the Lions are a little bit better than I anticipated. Ashawn Robinson is not a bad run stopper DN. Dominican Sue actually played for the Lions, so you can actually put him at the DT position with his draft pass, or you could power him up. I would personally rather have him here because you have Dwight Freeney and Everson Griffin that you could also throw in as well with Michael Brocker. So you have some good defensive linemen in the front four. Aiden Hutchinson with even as well. A new rookie premier if you want. Outside linebackers, yeah, outside linebacker, even linebackers in general for the most part, not the greatest. Charles Harris, not a bad one. Barry Sanders is actually kind of funny. 97 finesse move with 99 speed. Cornerbacks for the Broncos, for the Lions, though. Lam Barney is okay. Nitre Land is pretty solid. Darius Slay is really good. And then you got Amani and Mike Hughes and Philip Buchanan. So a good body, good four secondary players you can go to. Free safety, though, yeah. Quandre Diggs and Calvin Johnson aren't the best. I would probably just play the Calvin Johnson. And then you also got J-Rock Curse, who's pretty solid. But overall, the Lions aren't that bad. I'm going to put them in the B tier. They're going to be the low B tier. They definitely needed some more linebackers, especially for pass coverage if you really wanted to go there. But I do like the Lions off the Lions team. I think they were pretty solid. Next, we look at the Green Bay Packers. There we go. Not the Carolina Panthers, the Green Bay Packers. So Aaron Rodgers, again, I said this in my video about the NFL when I did the promo rankings. I'm completely fine with this Aaron Rodgers if this was my starting quarterback for the rest of the year, if I was a Packers fan. A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are great running back options. I actually like this A.J. Dillon more for obvious reasons. For wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Andre Rison, Charles Woodson, Dave Robinson, Randall Cobb, and Alan Lazard. I probably would just have these three. This Charles Woodson, I think he got Playmaker for 2 AP. I think this was the one that got the Playmaker for 2 AP. If I remember correctly, it was in like ability slot 4, right? Yeah. So yeah, he got Playmaker for 2 AP. So that was pretty solid. Packers, Keith Jackson is okay. Jared Cook, I probably would have started maybe more just because he is a little faster. Offensive line, David Bakhtiari got his upgrade finally. It only took them about 7 years, but they finally gave David Bakhtiari a fucking guard. And then after that, John Runyon, sure. Josh Myers is all right. Greg Van Roten is pretty solid, and then Billy Turner is. Anyhow. So, moving on to the defense, Reggie White, like I talked about with the Panthers, great edge rusher or even interior rusher with that double or nothing for 1 AP. Kenny Clark is pretty good. KGB, I think KGB also gets double or nothing for 1 AP. Let me just check real quick. Yes, he does. He does get double or nothing for 1 AP. Yeah, KGB and Reggie White both got double or nothing for 1, right? Yeah, they did. So you got 2 double or nothing edge rushers or whatever for 1 AP. That's for 2 AP. That's pretty good. Dave Robinson, not a bad linebacker by any means. Very versatile. Can play the run, can play the pass. I like this Dave Robinson. Christian, then the middle linebacker, not so great. Right outside linebacker. Nothing more to say about that other than just, cornerbacks, Rasul Douglas, Charles Woodson, Eric Stokes, Casey Hayward. Some solid corners. Free safety, Darnell Savage. Micah Hyde is a little bit better. And then the strong safety, Ted Hendricks. And then you also have Jimmy Graham. So you could easily, mix and match some of these guys. You could probably put Amos to free safety or put Ted Hendricks to free safety. And then Mason Crosby and Colby. So the Packers, I'm going to put in the A tier. I do think if you move some things around, this team is a lot better than what they are. Or if you move some players around, they were a little bit better than what they were or what they show. But, I don't like the fact that they do not have a solid offensive line. I'm a big guy for offensive lines. I'm a big believer in O-lines. Having a great O-line is the difference between wins and losses. So that's what I think. Moving on to the Texans. So they got David Fitzpatrick. That's this guy right here. And his name is Ryan, Adrian, not David. Ryan. Anyhow, so they got Davis Mills, who I think is going to have a solid year next year. I don't think he's the quarterback for the future for the Texans, but I think he's still okay. Mark Ingram, not a bad player by any means. Bernard Pollard as well. Now for the receiver core, Brandon Cooks, Andre Johnson, incredibly good card. Yes, you will need to have the speed stride items, but I think for this card specifically, it is a bit worth it. Wait, hang on a second. Oh, no, there we go. If for some reason it wasn't showcasing the updated stats when you did this. But 99 speed on a Texans team, 99 everything for the route running and stuff. I do like him. You also got D-Hop. I would probably start Emmanuel Sanders just because he is a deep threat wide receiver. Tight end, nothing more to that. For the tackle, you get Dwayne Brown. For offensive line, Dwayne Brown. Kenyon Green, not bad, but yeah, offensive line for the Texans is also pretty. Now for the defense, Clowney, Will Fork, Reeder, J.J. Watt, Jonathan Greenard, some solid defensive linemen, not bad by any means. KGH, not going to try and pronounce his full name. Kevin Pierre-Louis is not that bad either. For linebackers, Zach Cunningham, I don't think is very good. Then you also got Whitney Merciless and Ed Reed. Cornerbacks, though, it's a little bit up and down. You got Desmond King, who is 96 speed, and then you got Aaron Glenn, who's 97, but he's 5'9", and then you got Derek Stingley Jr., who's going to be 99 speed as well on this team. You also got the new Jalen Pitre, sure, if that's how you pronounce it. And then you got Justin Reed, so you got some solid safety options, actually. So team overall is pretty solid in the secondary. I'm going to put the Texans in the B tier. Offensive line, lack of good offensive line play, lack of good pass rushers, in my opinion. I don't think some of these guys are that great of pass rushers overall, so I'm going to do that, put that. So next we have the Indianapolis Colts. How many teams do we have left? I think we're about halfway. So for the Indianapolis Colts, there they are. So they obviously got their new QB in Matt Ryan. Eric Dickerson, Edgerrin James, and Jonathan Taylor are a pretty great running back trio. I would probably just do Eric Dickerson and Edgerrin. For the wide receivers, Andre Rison, Andre Johnson, and Michael Pittman. Some great wide receivers. You could even throw in the Alec Pierce if you really wanna. I don't think you should, but you can. John Mackey, not a bad card. Probably will get one more UL card before the end of the year. And then offensive line, Eric Fisher, Quentin Nelson. Not a bad one by any means. Not great, but not bad. Especially compared to, like, the Texans and other teams. Then you got Deo Sheehan. Nope. Just nope. DeForest Buckner, Anthony McFarland, Dwight Freeney, Yannick Ngakoue. Not bad. Pass rushers, not great either. I do like Dwight Freeney, though, for his pass rushing ability. He'll have 98 speed on the Colts team, so pretty solid there. Linebackers, not bad linebackers, honestly. They could be a little bit better. Bobby Okereke, I think that's how you fucking pronounce it. Could be a little faster. Same with Anthony Walker. Andre Rison, again, 98 speed, but he is 6 feet tall. And then after that, they don't have the greatest of right outsides. For the cornerback position, though, again, much like the last team, and it's a bit up and down. Xavier Rhodes is pretty good, but he's not the best. Kenny Moore is also not that great, and then Pierre Desir is not that good either. Laren Landry is actually not bad. I actually liked this Laren Landry card when I used them, and then the Ted Hendricks golden ticket. And then for the kickers, you have the greatest kicker, or the most stylish kicker in the history of the NFL. So, but the Colts are going to be, I'm going to put the Colts actually in the low B. Definitely did leave a little to be desired. I thought they had some things that they did need to be addressed, like their holes in the secondary and a little bit of holes on the outside. Jaguars. Let's look at the Jacksonville Jaguars next. So the Jaguars, Tim Tebow, starting quarterback, not the best, honestly. That it really just does not feel like a good day if Tim Tebow is your starting quarterback. Then you got Fred Taylor, who, honestly, not bad. 98 speed with team. Pretty solid. Andre Rison, again, who has he not played? He has played for a lot of damn teams. Holy hell. Andre Rison, Nick Foles, Colin Johnson, Jimmy Smith, 4 great wide receivers. I probably would play the Jimmy Smith over Nick Foles because he does. Actually, what is Nick Foles' ability buckets? Let me check these because I haven't been on the game I haven't been on Madden 22 for like 2 weeks. So he gets a physical, 2 physicals, 3 physicals, or now it's coming back to me. I remember the Nick Foles ability buckets are bugged. They're not supposed to be all physicals, but EA has never addressed them yet because they're just idiots. So obviously Jimmy Smith would start over him. Mercedes Lewis is terrible, just fucking awful. Offensive line though, they got 2 Tony Basellis, one for this season 2, and then one for the but offensive line, again, good but not great. Obviously, you would need to figure out who's going to be starting at your your right tackle. But again, good but not great. Defensively though, like Tony Bracken's not the best pass rushers. Dalvin Hamilton is a solid run stopper. Calais Campbell looks like a solid run stopper. I do like this Trevon Walker card, 99 power move, 94 finesse. Josh Allen, so he has some solid mix of pass rushers and a solid mix of coverage linebackers. You can mix and match with whatever. Secondary for them, though, is a bit of a mixed bag as well. Shaq Griffin and Jalen Ramsey are all really good, but Aaron Glenn is a very, very small corner. We obviously want to put him in the slot. Andrew Wingard as a nice strong safety, and then free safety, and then strong safety with Tayshaun Gibson. Not the best. But the Jaguars actually have a better theme team than I expected. So I'm actually going to put them in the high B to low A. I think the Jaguars have a pretty solid theme team. Next, we'll move on to the Kansas the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, honestly have a who's who at quarterback because they got Rich Gannon. They also just got the new Joe Montana that came out yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. Travis Kelce, golden ticket quarterback, who has, for his ability buckets, they gave him generic 1 release, which is kind of whack. But for his ability buckets, he's got an improviser, a scrambler, a field general, a strong arm, and an improviser. So they got 2 field, so whatever. But, it's a who's who. You could pick whoever. Marcus Allen is still pretty good. 98 speed on our Chiefs theme team. Not bad. Michael Burton, obviously. And then Andre Rison, Nick Foles, Josh Gordon. If you really want, you could throw in Tyreek Hill over the Josh Gordon. I think that would be fine. Tony Gonzalez and Travis Kelce. Not very good tight ends. Travis Kelce in particular is pretty slow. Cameron Irving. Not Cameron. And then offensive line. Their right guard. Their right side of their old line is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Oh my god. That is horrible. Anyhow. George Karlaftis. Sure. I don't know. George Karlaftis. Not bad. Not a bad card. Pretty slow. I would play him in the middle of the defense along with Chris Jones. Then for, they got Melvin Ingram as well, who's not the fastest of pass rushers. How in the hell does Kyle Long have a better out of position? Oh, wait, that's Kyle Long. Kyle Long, hang on. Hold on. Wait a minute. How the hell does Kyle Long have a better out of position card than he has a right guard? Than he has his right guard? That doesn't make sense. Any freaking how. Andre Rison, Kevin Pierre-Louis, not bad. Tyreek Hill, middle linebacker, golden ticket. And then you also got Derek Johnson, Nick Bolton, some solid linebackers. Derek Thomas is still one of the better pass rushers. I think he might get a UL card at some point, or even Terrell Suggs. Secondary, though, pretty good. Ty Law, Darrell Reeves, and L'Jarius Sneed, all 99 speed, no stride items required. Justin Reed, the same thing, and Bernard Pollard, the same thing. So I think the Chiefs are an A-tier theme team. I do think the Chiefs are a very good team overall. They got a great kicker and punter as well, so I do think the Chiefs have a really good team. They just needed some improvement on the right side of the O-line in order to be able to become a S-tier theme team. Just give me 1 second while I put up my thing again. No, Adrian, not whatever the hell you just searched up. No, not that. No, there. And then we go to theme teams. I apologize for being disorganized because for some reason I accidentally clicked the X button instead of the change tab. Moving on. Let's talk about the Chargers now, shall we? So, for the Chargers, I'm sorry, that was weird. For the Chargers, we got Dan Fouts. Not bad. Especially since they changed up his release, he's a little bit better. LaDainian Tomlinson, Austin Eckler, really, really good 1-2 punch at running back. I would probably just play LaDainian Tomlinson. Now for the receivers. Again, Lance Allworth being your best receiver. I mean, he's okay. Oh, there we go. There's his actual stats. So Lance Allworth, not bad. Why haven't they updated the attributes for some of these cards yet? I don't know. But Wes Welker, Keenan Allen is also really solid. I think he got a deep flashback card. Keenan Allen is also really good. Charlie Joyner. So you got some good receivers for the Chargers. Antonio Gates is a really solid tight end. He also got some good offensive line pieces. One of the better O lines that I've seen. Now moving on to the defensive part of the ball, Dwight Freeney and Melvin Ingram definitely could be your edge rushers, or maybe even the new Khalil Mack with the addition of Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Put Freeney and them at the DT spot. Junior Seau, the linebacker's not so great. Uchenna Nwosu is pretty mid. The Chargers secondary, though, it's okay. Desmond King, Asante Samuel, Pierre Desir, not bad. You could obviously throw in Casey Hayward. Now, free safety, again, not bad. And then there's Rodney Harrison, who's also pretty okay. So the Chargers, I'm actually going to be a little bit hypocritical on the Chargers and go into the C tier. I definitely do feel like they needed an upgrade in the secondary, or even in the linebacker department, they did need something. But the Chargers, I'm putting in the C tier. You could easily put them up to the B tier if you want. Now let's move on to the Rams. the Super Bowl champions. How did they do for the end of the year theme team wrap up? Well, let's have a look. So Stafford, not the most mobile quarterback, but definitely a solid quarterback that will get it done. Eric Dickerson, Cam Akers, solid 1-2 running back punch. Foles, Cooks, Kupp, Welker, Odell Beckham, Robert Woods. Again, you could easily sub out this Nick Foles if you really want to. Charlie Young, pretty solid tight end, 99 speed tight end. Offensive line, Andrew Whitworth, Roger Saffold, not bad. They definitely did need a little bit of help in here, but so far, not bad. Defensively, Jack Youngblood, team captain. Now, they actually have a LTD for him in the Super Bowl promo, but for some reason on here, they have it just as his overall card here. So here's his card overall. Meh, I will say. Chris Long is also pretty meh. Michael Brockers is also pretty meh. So their pass rush is a little bit meh. They do actually have the new Aaron Donald that just came out last week. But, he's also kind of eh. Von Miller and Clay Matthews, not that bad. Ernest Jones is actually pretty solid. Bobby Wagner, definitely needed to be better. Dante Fowler, Robert Quinn. And then secondary, Jalen Ramsey, Night Train Lane, the cornerback Charlie Young. David Long, not bad. Eric Weddle's also, definitely not the greatest. Actually, he's just not that good. Nick Scott. So their safety positions did need a little bit of a help, but I'm going to put the Chargers in the low B, the Rams. Boy, I apologize. I'm tired for some reason when I'm making this video, so it's not a great idea. But hey, we're already halfway into it, so it may as well. But for the Rams, my God, I just did it again. For the Rams, they did not really impress me with their safeties, and their center position is also pretty So, and then their interior line is not their best either. So moving on to the Raiders. Now let's look at the Las Vegas Raiders. So Derek Carr, golden ticket, or Rich Gannon. I would probably use the Derek Carr just because he gets the ability buckets. Great running back duo with Cordero Patterson and Bo Jackson. Definitely can mix it up with who you would like. Jakob Johnson, for fullback. Andre Rison, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, all fantastic wide receiver options. They're all going to be great. Hunter Renfrow is also a solid card if you want to put him in over someone like, say, a Jerry Rice if he's too expensive. Hunter Renfrow is not that bad. Darren Waller, not great, not worse. He's good. He's good. For the offensive line, it's good. It's a good offensive line. It could be a little bit better, but it's good. It's good. I do like it. Now for the defense. The defense for the Raiders is actually better than I thought. Max Crosby, Neil Farrell Jr., Warren Sapp, not Vernon Butler, Yannick Ngakoue, not bad pass rushers. Same with Khalil Mack and, Benson Mayowa. Now people did sleep on this Benson Mayowa card. I thought he was really good. In terms of pass coverage linebackers, Derek Johnson and Jaylen Brown, pretty good linebackers, I will say. Even though you do actually have to throw Lurker on them, which does suck. I do think they're still pretty good. They're 98, 99 speed. And then the overall for the team, for the secondary, some great corners. You could throw this Charles Woodson in here if you really want to. Ronnie Lott is a little bit on the shorter side, but you could easily throw in Ted Hendricks here and put Davon Diablo. And then obviously the kicker and punter. So I'm going to put the Raiders in the S tier. I think they're the best. I think they're the first S tier theme team. Definitely their offensive line did need some help, but I do think their defense more than made up for it, especially with the amount of pass rushers they have, the amount of interior presence they have with, their new rookie premier card, Warren Sapp, who still plays very good. Max Crosby is a solid edge. Khalil Mack can be a great edge. I do think that they're all really, really good. Miami Dolphins is the next theme team. So the Dolphins, you know what? Dolphins are good. Dolphins are good. They got, Dan Marino, Reggie Bush, Thurman Thomas, Larry Zonka, Brandon Marshall, Tyreek Hill, Wes Welker. Great receiver trio. You could throw in easily Emmanuel Sanders, Ricky Williams, or even Jalen Waddle. If that's your jam, if you want to throw in Jalen Waddle over the Wes Welker, I wouldn't blame you. So there's that. Mike Gesicki, not a bad tight end by any stretch of the imagination. Could be a bit better, though. Trenton Armstead, Roger Saffold, Mike Pouncey, Robert Hunt, and Liam Eichenberg. Not the worst offensive line, but not the best either. In terms of defense, they have Larry Zonka for out of position for their edge rusher. And you got Christian Wilkins and Raquan Davis. Not the greatest interior presence. Dominic Sue is okay. Mario Williams, KGL, Jalen Phillips. So you can have Jalen Phillips be a nice edge rusher with 97 speed. Tyreek Hill and Channing Tyndall. Yeah, there we go. What is that helmet? Oh my good. Motherfucker, are you playing hockey? Like, wow, okay. I just happened to notice that. I apologize. Wow, my ADHD is just acting up. Anyways, okay. So where was I? Oh yeah. So pass rushers and linebackers definitely not the best. Byron Jones for the secondary. We're going to kick off the secondary. Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, Thurman Thomas, not bad. You could easily throw in guys like, say, McCain if you really wanted to, but I do like the secondary. Mika is a little bit on the slower side. I definitely do think Mika Fitzpatrick needed to be a little bit better. And then same with Eric Rowe. For the Dolphins, I'm gonna put them in the low B. They definitely need to be better with the secondary with like Mika and Byron Jones. Well, Byron Jones actually does get 99 speed. I did forget about that because of the defensive back speed item. He does actually get 99 speed because he will get +2, and then the team chem. So, I don't think that really changes their rankings too much. But next, let's look at the Minnesota Vikings. So the Vikings theme team, I think it was one of the more slept-on theme teams throughout the year. Randall Cunningham, Kirk Cousins, Rich Gannon, not bad QBs. Cordell Patterson, as I have mentioned, is one of the best running backs in the entire game. Randy Moss, Stephon Diggs, Percy Harvin, great receiver trio. But you can easily throw in Justin Jefferson over the Stephon Diggs if that's what you want to do. Christopher Herndon, not the greatest of tight ends. Irv Smith is pretty solid with 96 speed on the team. Offensive line, it's all right. It's all right. Again, you see a lot of that with these teams. It's not the greatest, but it's not the best either. For the defense, Daniel Hunter is okay. Kevin Williams is a solid defensive tackle. Same with Linval Joseph. Dominic Sue, again, he's on every team. Everson Griffin is all right. Anthony Barr definitely is a card that I wish was a little better. Brian Asamoah? Sure. I don't know. Brian Asamoah, not bad. Definitely a good linebacker to use. Eric Wilson could be a better as well. For the secondary, though, definitely did need a better third cornerback. All of them needed a strat item at least. Louis Chine is oh god, I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, so I'm just gonna stop. And then you got Harrison Smith and Jerron Kearse. So not bad, not a bad team. I'm actually gonna be nice and actually put the Vikings in the A tier. If they had a better unit here, like maybe one upgrade here, or if they had like another pass rusher or two, they had a couple of better pass rushers, I think they could have been S tier. New England Patriots. Let's look at the Pats. So, Brady, Newton, Mac Jones. I know some people that would love to run a Mac Jones just because they are weird, but that is their prerogative and not mine. I'm just kidding. Cordell Patterson, LeGarry Blunt, as everyone calls him. No, great. Randy Moss, Josh Gordon, Brandon Cooks, Tyquan Thornton, Wes Welker. Not a bad receiving core at all. You could really go 5 deep and pick any one of them. Jonnu Smith is a very good and very fast tight end. 98 speed on this team. Rob Gronkowski. Now keep in mind, he is getting a career tribute tomorrow. So keep that in mind. This is a card that is not fully upgraded. He's going to have 99 speed on the Patriots and Bucs team. For the offensive line, the Patriots traditionally have a great offensive line, and that continues with this. They have one of the best offensive lines in the entire game. John Hanna's really great. Harrison is also pretty solid for his card. Wow. Oh, my goodness. The strength is pretty bad, though. My goodness. I don't know if that matters, though. I'm pretty sure it don't. David Andrews, Teddy Bruschi, and then Trent Brown. You could easily throw in Nate Solder over there if you want. I don't think it would really matter. Defensively, though, Vince Wilfork is a fantastic run-stopping DT. Chris Long is also really, really good. Richard Seymour, William McGinnis, not the best, but they do get Chandler Jones. Actually, yeah, they do get Chandler Jones because he was drafted by the Patriots. You also have, Teddy Bruschi for the linebacker, which is okay. Definitely was not as good as he should have been. Secondary, though, Darrelle Revis. There he is. Darrelle Revis, Ty Law, and Cordero Patterson, with Delta O'Neal and Mike Haynes as other options. Same with the Randy Moss. Adrian Phillips, Logan Ryan, as well as Eric Rose. So their safeties are a little bit on the slower side. I would probably start Rodney Harrison or Kyle Duggar in the free safety slot, and then have the other one But Patriots, I'm going to put S tier as well. Patriots definitely have a great team. They did need a bit of an extra. They do actually need another pass rusher or two. I think, but you could easily throw in the Chris Long, but he's 91 speed on the team, so I don't know, man. Like, you know what? I'm actually going to put the Patriots in the A tier. I think they definitely need another pass rusher. New Orleans Saints is the next team. So let's have a look at them. So, Taysom Hill really didn't, the quarterback position for the Saints was really not that great this year. They do have Reggie Bush. For receivers, though, great receivers, except Mike Thomas. He's not that good for some reason. Other than that, though, not bad for receivers. Brandon Cooks and Chris Olave is pretty solid. Taysom Hill tight end card is also great, but keep in mind, if you want to run the Taysom Hill tight end card, you're going to have to not use his quarterback. Trenton Armstead, Darius Pete, the offensive line for the Saints was all right. Ryan Ramczyk just did not get a fucking card this year, which I think is absolutely inexcusable. The fact that he just did not get a card the entire year is a joke, in my opinion. Then you have Akeem Hicks and Cameron Jordan for the ends. Pardon me. Kevin Williams, again, not a bad DT. Marcus Davenport, I actually did like this Marcus Davenport card. I thought it was pretty sweet. Then you had Dominic Suh. Outside linebackers, the Saints linebacker core is not that great. And then you got Paulson Adebo, Aaron Glenn, Marshawn Lattimore, some solid corners. Then safeties is where the team really does drop off. You definitely could put TJ Gardner-Johnson at free safety, but the Saints are a C-tier team, in my opinion. They don't have very good pass rushers. They don't have very good linebackers. And most importantly, they just don't have a good enough offensive line. New York Giants is the next one. We're almost there, guys. I promise you. This is going to be a long video, and I appreciate everybody who's around to the very end to watch. You guys are great. Quarterback, Phil Simms. Not the best, but not the worst. Saquon Barkley draft card. I actually do like this Saquon Barkley draft card, even though he's not the fastest. I do think he is a very, very good card. Michael Strahan also has a solid power back card as well. Receivers, though, for the Giants. Brandon Marshall, Plaxico Burress, Colin Johnson, Kadarius Toney. All really good receivers. I think the receiving core is so good, I probably would say you wouldn't even need to start Brandon Marshall. I think you could go Plaxico, Colin, and Kadarius, and be just fine, because I really think they're that good. Evan Ingram, you know what? I did underestimate this Evan Ingram card for his tight end position. I thought he was good. I thought Evan Ingram was really good for the tight end when I did have him. Offensive line, Lomas Brown, Eric Flowers, Nick Gates, Max Garcia, and Evan Neal. So you got a solid offensive line for the Giants team. Michael Strahan did get his final card this year. 95 speed, not the best. Linval Joseph is still a solid run-stopping DT, which is what he's there for. Again, Dominic Suh on every single team. Carl Banks is, again, this card is actually not that bad. I do like this Carl Banks. Tate Crowder is awful. Do not use him. Thibodeau, sure. And then you also got the Lawrence Taylor Redux. Both are really, really good for pass rushers. Then for the secondary, after Tiki Barber, cornerback, it really does go downhill to the Antrell role, and then you got Janoris Jenkins. So, realistically speaking, the Giants don't have a great secondary, so I'm putting the Giants in the lower half of B, maybe even the worst of B tier. I think they have some. You know what? I'm actually going to be a little bit more critical of the Giants. I'm actually going to put them in the C tier. I don't like the Giants team. I don't think they're very, very good overall. And I just don't think that they have a great team. Now let's look at their inner city rival, the Jets, for example. The Jets have a solid team. Michael Vick, Joe Flacco, two solid quarterback options. Maybe even Joe Namath if you really want to go with Joe Shiesty. Michael Vick golden ticket card. Wide receivers, Brandon Marshall, Plaxico, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson. I would just keep it these three. Tight ends, CJ Uzomah, Christopher Hendon, and then, offensive line. Outside of the left tackle position, the Jets have a really solid offensive line. You definitely could move a couple of things around, find a way to get the offensive line on the left tackle spot better. But I do like the Jets offense overall. Now let's move on to their defense. As you can see, 96 speed edge rusher here. Then you also got Tony Cialis, who's also pretty good. Quentin Williams is also pretty good. You got two great DTs right here. Jordan Willis is okay. You also got Jason Taylor, Carl Lawson, but it is what it is. KPL, again, really, really good. These two are not the best. Woodler Marshall's also not that great. The Jets secondary, though, I have to admit, is a bit better than I thought. You got Ty Law, Darrelle Revis, and Aaron Glenn. You could put them on Sauce Gardner in here if you want to. Laren Landry is pretty solid. Marcus May is a really good card. Ed Reed is just by far away the best safety in the game for right now, in my opinion. So you could easily throw Ed Reed in there over Marcus May, and you would not notice a difference. In fact, if anything, your defense would improve. Just that's how good this Ed Reed card is, in my opinion. So, but the Jets theme team, I'm gonna put in the A tier. I think the Jets are a really good team. Like I honestly think that the Jets are a very good team. I really do. But I don't think they're perfect. Obviously, no team is perfect unless you're the Seattle Seahawks, for example. No, I'm just kidding. But I do think that the team actually has it is a lot better than I think people are willing to give it credit for. I know a lot of people moved to the Jets theme team around December last year, but, now it's not that great. Now it's not as insane as it was last year. In 2021. Next, we move on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Eagles theme team, some solid options. Randall Cunningham, great QB. Michael Vick and Miles Sanders and LeGarrette Blount are some great great running backs. William Perry is just a monster as the fullback spot. Nick Foles, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Deshaun Jackson. Some 96 speed receivers. Could be better. Honestly, it really could be. Charlie Young, as I alluded to, is a really good tight end. Offensive line, though. The Eagles have a really, really good offensive line. Lane Johnson does not help them, but overall, they have a really good O-line. I think they're pretty solid. Moving on to the defense, Reggie White, William Perry, Jordan Davis. You also got Hassan Reddick. Some great pass rushers. LaVon Kirkland is a solid linebacker if you really want to use him. Eric Wilson, whatever. But then cornerbacks. Rasul Douglas, Darius Slay. Charlie Young does leave a little bit to be desired. You could throw the Michael Vick in there if you really want to. Free safety, Brian Dawkins, and then Eric Rowe and Jordan Poyer with Malcolm Jenkins as the safeties. So I think the Eagles are their theme team. I think the Eagles are a really solid theme team. I actually will put them ahead of the Cowboys. I do think the Eagles theme team, I know some Eagles fans are going to love hearing that, but I do think the Eagles have a good team. I really do think that the Eagles have a solid theme team. So next we move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, America's team, as the man known as Gut Fox would say. So when it comes to the Steelers, Kenny Pickett, not a bad QB. He's actually pretty good. Michael Vick, Najee Harris, LeGarrette Blount. There's really good mix and match with all of these guys. Franco Harris, probably will get an upgrade before the season's end. In terms of teams, receivers, you got Plaxico Burress. You got a top 3 receiver in the NFL. Winky face. Then you got, after that, Emmanuel Sanders and Antonio Brown. So not great. Pat Freiermuth with 95 speed tight end. Not the worst, but not the greatest either. Offensive line, just awful. Just an awful offensive line. And it probably is not going to get any better from here from what it's looking like. Their left end, Delvin Marvin's not great. Stephon Tuitt just recently retired, so he's going to be out of the game next year. Mean Joe Green, Javon Hargrave is not going to be, is going to be okay. I do like the Javon Hargrave a little bit. Melvin Ingram is actually pretty good. TJ Watt is obviously TJ Watt. He's insane. Miles Jack and Lavon Kirkland are pretty great. Joey Porter is bad. Ahkello Witherspoon is incredible. I love that Ahkello Witherspoon. Justin Lane is great. And then after that is Same with Mika, and Troy Polamalu is actually not that bad. But overall, I don't think the Steelers team is very good, so I'm going to put them in the lower half of the C tier. Wow, I really only have one team in the D tier after all this. So, anyways, let's look at Canada's team now in the Seattle Seahawks. So Russell Wilson, as I alluded to earlier, not the best of golden tickets, especially with the ability buckets. Edgerrin and Sean, great running backs. This is the team captain's version, though. This is not the team diamonds. Franco Harris, wide receivers, some fantastic wide receivers. Like, all these cards don't need to be on a team, don't need the strat items to be 99 speed. Charlie Young is also really, really good. Offensive line wise, Charles Cross, Damian Lewis, Kevin Mawai, Dwight Freeney, you definitely could throw in here at the right guard position if you really want. I'm sorry, I'm leaning over a little bit. Then you got Abraham Lucas and Jake Curhan, not bad. Offensive line is pretty solid. Clowney and Curdy are some good pass rushers. Same with Kevin Williams and Sheldon Richardson. Freeney got his upgrade, so he's actually pretty solid. Jordan Brooks is garbage. Do not use him. Kevin Pierre-Louis is pretty solid. Von Kirkland, Bobby Wagner, okay. KJ Wright is whatever, Akello, Shaq Griffin, some solid cornerbacks. I still would rather use Richard Sherman just because I'm a sucker for nostalgia. Safeties, though, free safety, though, is pretty bad, but overall, I think the Seahawks team is I'm going to say they're at high A. I'm not going to give them an S tier, mainly just because of the fact that they did not get, what am I trying to say? They did not have a good free safety. The free safety position is very important in this game. Especially with the way the game plays. But you know what? Actually, I'm going to put them in the S, because you could easily just move Cam Chancellor over to free safety and just play it that way and just go from there. So I'm actually going to put the Seahawks in the S tier. I think the Seahawks are an S tier theme team. San Francisco 49ers. We got like 3 more. We got 3 more after this one. So San Francisco. So Joe Montana, I heard they changed his release recently. Like, I heard they actually changed his release from traditional 1 to generic 3 recently. Or if they didn't, I heard a lot of people say that he was really good. But either way, Joe Montana is pretty solid. Reggie Bush is good. He's a great running back. Deion Sanders, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Danny Gray, their new wide receiver that they drafted, and then obviously you got Deebo Samuel. Honestly, the receivers are all completely up to you. It really doesn't matter. Charlie Young and Vernon Davis unarguably are the best tight end duo in the entire game. 49ers offensive line, incredible. 90, 97s, 98, 98, 99, and 99. Like, just insane. And it only gets better from here. Eric Armstead, not the best. But you got DeForest Buckner and DJ Jones, solid interior guys. Dominican Sue. But you also have guys like Charles Haley, Fred Warner, Quan Alexander and Elvis Dumerville for outside linebackers. Now their secondary is great. The Deion Sanders, Raquel Witherspoon, Randy Moss, all tall, lengthy, well, Deion Sanders to a lesser extent, all tall, lengthy DBs. You can even throw in Josh Norman. I've heard some people, like my guy APD Wilder, say that Josh Norman is actually incredibly good. Then you also have guys like, Jimmy Ward, Taylor Mays, Ronnie Lott. Then you also have the Jimmy Ward here. So, but the Niners are a clear S tier. They have one of the best teams in the entire game. I would dare say that they probably are the best team in the game just because they are the Niners overall. So I do like them. So that is how I feel about it. So next, move on to the Buccaneers. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you get the fan appreciation Brady. You got the new Vita Vea golden ticket along with LeGarrette Blount. I would probably just play the LeGarrette Blount. I don't think Vita Vea is that good of a running back. Receivers, honestly, receivers are not the best. Mike Evans is a solid jump ball machine at 6'5", but after that, he's Joey Galloway is a good, fast guy, and then Chris Godwin is also pretty fast, but then you got Deshaun Jackson, Keyshawn Johnson, and Antonio Brown, so not the best. Again, Gronk is getting a tight end upgrade here soon. Lomas Brown, Luke, who the fuck? Go Edike? God, I hope I'm right. Ryan Jensen, Warren Sapp, somewhat of an okay offensive line, could be better. William Golston, Dominican Sue again. He played for the Bucks, so he's obviously going to be here. But right end, I would actually have him at the right end because you got guys like Leroy Selman and Vita Vea who are really good in the middle. Actually, Vita Vea is a great run stopper, and I think Leroy Selman gets inside stuff for 1 AP, right? I'm not mistaken. Like he gets under pressure. Yeah, he gets under pressure and inside stuff for 1 AP. So that's actually good. That's actually really good. I would have those two there. Shaq Barrett, not the worst, but not the best either anymore. Devin White and Levante David definitely needed to be better. Levante David just never got an upgrade after his LTD, right? Oh no, his veteran card. After his vets card, he just never got another card. Secondary, Rondé Barber, Pierre Desir, Darrell Revis, okay, secondary. And then Logan Ryan, John Lynch, Mike, and then Golden Ticket, Mike Evans. So I'm going to put the Bucks in the B tier, probably actually midway into the B tier. I don't think the Bucks have the best theme team in the game anymore. They were at one point, in my opinion, but now they're not. So it is what it is with the Buccaneers. Next, we move on to the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee, so Steve McNair or quarterback Derrick Henry is really up to you. Probably would go with the quarterback Derrick Henry. Darian Evans, Chris Johnson, great running back duo. Randy Moss, Billy Johnson, and Andre Johnson, not bad, but you can easily throw in guys like Charlie Joyner, and you probably do just fine. Jonnu Smith, as I alluded to with the Patriots, 98 speed on this team with 93 run blocking. That's pretty good. That is really good for a tight end. That's actually really solid. For the offensive line, though, definitely is a solid offensive line. Taylor Lewan and Roger Saffold being the weaker of the three, but you know what? They're all pretty good, nonetheless. Sorry, guys. I'm very exhausted. I'm like very dehydrated right now. I need some water, but I'm gonna finish this up and then get some water. So, but for the defense, guys, Clowney, and Billy Johnson, solid defensive interior guys. I would say Clowney is a better interior guy than he is an outside guy. Right, and not so great. Bud Dupree is not the best. Brian Orcapo is okay, but obviously Jayon Brown, really great linebacker. I love that Jayon Brown, 99 speed. And then for the cornerback positions, they're up and down, right? You got the Roger McCary with 98 speed. Then you got Desmond King with 96, and then Randy Moss with 97. Kevin Byard is not that good. 97 speed on a theme team at this point in the year is not that great. But Bernard Pollard is pretty good, and you also have this Kevin Houston, so you can easily play these two instead. But I think the Titans are above average B tier theme team. I think they definitely did need another cornerback to move them up a little bit more, and then I think one more pass rusher. The Titans don't have a whole lot of good pass rushers, I've noticed. They don't have very good pass rushing guys. I do suspect somebody like Javon Curse might get a card, though. And then finally, guys, last but not least, the Washington Commanders. Now, the Washington Commanders is a team that a lot of people are looking at for 25 pieces, and that's not without fault because, quarterback one side, you also got guys like Antonio Gibson, who's pretty solid with 97 speed or 98 speed on a Commanders team. But for their wide receivers, Billy Johnson, Deion Sanders, Jahan Johnson, Terry McLaurin, some solid receivers. Vernon Davis, again, best tight end in the game. Offensive line, not bad, not a bad offensive line. I think it's actually pretty good. Bruce Smith for them in terms of the pass rushers. Jonathan Allen, Billy Johnson, great DTs. Chase Young is a solid edge rusher. Dominic Sue is a solid DT. Pearl Banks and Dave Robinson you could put on the edges as well and drop him into flats. KPL is really solid for a card. Willard Marshall, Brian Orcapo. And then their secondary, Deion Sanders, again, Josh Norman, Sean Springs. Sean Springs is still pretty solid even right now. Sean Taylor and Laren Landry. Now, I had no idea that Sean Taylor was... Okay, he is 97 speed. Okay, I always thought he was 98. And then there's Ken Houston that the Washington Commanders just got. So, I'm going to put the Commanders in the A tier. I think they could actually move up to S, to be completely honest. I do like the Commanders theme team. I think they are one of the better theme teams. You know what? I'm actually going to be trying to just keep it at high A, actually, because their secondary definitely needed one more card to get them up to a 99 speed corner. But that is going to be the final rankings for me, personally, in regards to the theme teams for Madden 23. Now, what would you change? What would you say that I'm wrong about? What would you agree with? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. I'm always interested to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know what other things you guys want me to do for the year wrap-up for Madden 22. I do want to talk about some other things when it comes to the game, but I do not remember what you want me to talk about. I do not know what it is you want me to. So let me know, guys. And with that, I will see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.